Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss Coinbase's massive announcements at their event yesterday. We're going to talk about the fall of Hyperliquid and some prediction market alpha. Just as we started the show, we saw the majors begin to pump. Over $60 million worth of shorts liquidated in the last 30 minutes. Love to see it. If you're listening on Twitter, give us a like, comment, retweet, bookmark, push us out there in the algorithm. If you're listening over on YouTube, drop a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about today. And if you're over on Zora, where we're streaming each and every day, let us know what you're thinking, what you're trading on Zora. Let us know you're out there. We'll be sharing some comments from Zora as well. GM, I'm joined by Easy this morning. Easy, how you feeling today?
I'm good, man. Life is good. Cannot complain. Coinbase had some good announcements yesterday.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff coming out of Coinbase. I feel like our prediction market picks on the no side might have missed across the board.
No, we actually did pretty well. The Kobe was an absolute cook. That was the big one. Right? He never said Kobe.
Okay.
Never said Kobe. Never said Echo. Never said base token. Never said tokenized equity. Did say token sale, did say ETH 2+ times, did say stablecoin 2+ times.
Yeah, it said Solana a million times as well. And Bitcoin.
No, he never said Solana.
No, he said Solana a ton, right?
Nope. So it was only what Brian Armstrong said.
Oh, Brian Armstrong.
It was only what Brian Armstrong said.
I didn't even catch the part with Brian Armstrong. I was listening to their other speakers.
He was only on for like 6 to 8 total minutes. So he never said Solana. When he brought up the base app, he mentioned that it was built on top of Ethereum, which is what led to the hit for that. Stablecoins was for the business side of things, which that hit. He said Bitcoin pretty early on. He never said perpetual futures or perp, which was surprising. But basically, this would have been a yes fest aside from Kobe and Echo if it was all speakers, but it wasn't.
Okay, so that's super interesting. Yeah, everything would have been like yes. I didn't realize that. So I when I was like looking at this, I thought. Well, I guess what my confusion was is that it wasn't Brian Armstrong.
What will be said at the Coinbase event versus what will Brian Armstrong say?
Yeah. Like I was
because the night before was what will be said at the Robinhood event.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I didn't know that they were gonna have multiple speakers, or like I just assumed like this was gonna be like the entire event market.
Nope, I had a feeling they would have multiple speakers because previously when Coinbase has done these, they bring on each product manager to do the discussion. My big thing was I was like checking Kobe's tweets to see if he was actively doing customer support before the event. Because I was like, if he is, there's no shot he's getting ready to talk. And he was tweeting up until like minutes before the event. He was there. So I saw a video today of him. He was there. So I did not even think he was there. Turns out he was there, but he didn't speak. So I was like, thank God.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was listening for maybe 20 minutes-ish of it, and it was different speakers, and they said Solana like 100 times. I was like, oh, man, yeah. These are getting cooked. He's like, Solana, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. I was like, oh, man.
Yep.
So
1 second. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, take your time. So it looks like he did say Ethereum 2+ times. We were definitely on the no there. That one's tough, but a lot of these other ones we talked about hit. So gotta love that. Well, Easy's gone. I'm actually going to do a little weather report here just to kick things off, and then we can get back into it with Easy. So I'm going to play a little music. We'll get a little weather report going on here, and we'll dive through the latest news of the day. All right, let's get a little volume here. All righty. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, December 18th. Looking over at the majors, we had Bitcoin just under 89K rallying this morning. We have Ethereum just under 3,000 as well. Solana at 127. Hype all the way down below $25 for the first time since May. Over the last 24 hours, we had big news coming out of Coinbase. They announced 9+ products and features, including prediction markets, stock trading, equity perps and futures, full DEX integration, including Solana, borrowing against majors, payment and money transfer features, AI-powered Coinbase Advisor, Coinbase Business now leaving beta, and Coinbase token sales, as they highlighted Monad as the first token sale on the platform. Next up, it's a big day for rate cuts. The Bank of England announced it cut rates 25 basis points to 3.75%. This was in line with what was expected. The European Central Bank left rates the same today, and all eyes are on Japan as they are expected to cut rates to the lowest levels in 30 years. Finally, big news coming out of U.S. Federal Reserve as they decided to withdraw guidance from 2023 that basically made uninsured banks restricted from crypto access. This blocked Custodia Bank's application for a master account back in 2023. This has been repealed and opens the door for all banks to participate in crypto activities. That's it for the weather report. Back to myself in the studio. Excellent weather report as always, Ray. Now we're going to continue on with today's show until Easy comes back. A lot to talk about today. One of the major stories is Coinbase. I'm going to let Easy talk more about that when he gets back, but I want to look at Hyperliquid and the price action on Hype over the last 24 hours as we saw a massive pullback here. Hype now trading below $25. This is the first time we've seen Hype below $25 since May of this year. So huge pullback, huge candle yesterday. We went from a high of $28 all the way as low as $24.40 on Hype. Like I said, we haven't seen this level since May 21st-ish. So Hype pulling back majorly. I wonder if this could be due to just increased competition from bigger players. We saw Robinhood is looking at like perpetuals. Coinbase announced perpetuals yesterday. Easy, now that you're back with us, do you think Hype's price action is at all tied to these major like publicly traded companies like kind of eating a bit of the perpetual pie?
Yes. I think it's a big part of it. Dude, the Coinbase announcement, one of their announcements was perps for US users, which is like a direct play into this. So on top of that, they're rolling out tokenized equities and perps on equities for non-US, but they'll have 30 contracts for crypto perps for US users.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming a crowded spot, and now that we've gotten into team unlocks, we're seeing a lot of sell pressure, and some of the team are selling. Like we saw one engineer or like a supposed engineer dump like TWAP almost like $500,000 worth of tokens yesterday.
Yep.
We're going to see 10 million tokens per month unlock over the next year. And just like for reference, I think total buyback is just over like 3 million or 30 million tokens. So like we have a lot more sell pressure than there has historically been buy pressure on the Hype token. So hate to see this for Hyperliquid. You're going to see the moat erode as well as sell pressure jump on. And as a Hype holder myself, like I just I'm not feeling great right now, but going to continue to weather the storm, I guess. Like, what do you make of this chart? Is it time to cut ties with Hyperliquid at this point?
I'm torn. I want them to still do well, personally, but we'll see what happens. Like, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's tough because I still like Hype, and they still generate a ton of fees and they have a ton of volume. But this Coinbase stuff, like, dude, in general, Coinbase is going like the full neobank approach. Their business announcements are really good. Perps seem like they're coming to the US. There's just a lot of stuff from them that I'm like, this is good. Like, this was good.
So we're looking at Hype price versus revenue on DeFi Llama right now. We saw Hype price basically peak as revenue was kind of peaking, or right after revenue peaked. And you can see like there's a pretty clear downtrend in revenue, daily revenue for Hyperliquid. Also look at TVL is another good metric. TVL versus Hype price, and like this has essentially been spot on. We continue to see TVL fall. I think there was over $200 million worth of outflows from Hype yesterday as it led all chains and outflows. So not ideal. The trend is not our friend in terms of Hype right now. So
no.
Do not love this as a Hype holder, but it's just hard to capitulate at the low. So I mean, I think we're just holding this thing till, I don't know, next target $20. This is the bottom of that wick on Bybit from 1010.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I'm like, it should bottom there theoretically, but what if it doesn't?
yeah. What if it doesn't?
What if it doesn't? Then what? Then what, Ray?
What I am gonna do though probably is now that we're below where I bought in, I'll probably sell and rebuy like K hype or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth taking the tax loss harvest.
Yep. SP Energy has some thoughts and advice here. You might as well sell and lock in gains and open up a Project X pool and scale in as it falls. If you're going to hold, it's going to 10. So he's saying cash out now, DCA back in. We'll see if that advice will hold over the long term. Wait and see. I mean, he could be right.
Man, small peen don't miss, bro.
All right, let's move over to the Coinbase announcements. What really jumped out? We had a ton of stuff. What really jumped out for you as like big announcements, and like what like were you overwhelmed? Were you underwhelmed? Like, how did you feel about the presentation?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I think is probably the best way to describe how I was feeling. I think I was pleasantly surprised. Reason being, there was a bunch of stuff, and they ended with a pretty decent bang where Brian Armstrong did the closing thing about Coinbase tokenized, which they're going to be doing RWAs on chain. So funds, real estate, equities, and private companies. So imagine being able to buy SpaceX pre-IPO, which I'm like, okay, that's interesting. They had a Base announcement just saying that Base, the app, is now in public with a $2 million fund or like referral campaign going out over the next 3 days. So it's just purely based on the number of referrals. You'll get a share of 2 mil. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. The thing that I thought was interesting was the marketing push around stable coins. They're launching custom branded stable coins that are backed by USDC. So theoretically, we could have Bodog's DC, Bodog DC, whatever, like backed by USDC. So it's a USDC stable coin that is backed by USDC, but with different marketing on it. They're launching with Soulflare, Flipcash, and R2 to start. And I was like, that's pretty good. The API suite rolled out and got rebranded, now focused on custody, trading, and stablecoins, making it much easier for people to leverage stablecoin payment. Obviously, rolled that out with Shopify. Then the biggest thing I saw was the Coinbase Business. So they basically launched a business bank account, which I thought was really big. Invoicing, payments, transfers, everything you can do from a business bank account owned and managed by Coinbase. So I was like, that's really big because now you can be a true crypto business and leverage Coinbase, receive payments, and you don't have to worry about it getting shut down for crypto. So I'm like, yeah, that's really good. Like, I was like, that's a very big step in the right direction. They had an AI agent, very similar to what Robinhood's doing. I wasn't terribly interested in that. I didn't think it was anything like groundbreaking, but it's just integrated directly and can help set up like portfolio allocation, which was interesting. They're coming after Venmo and Cash App with their own payments, where I can send you a payment. Even if you don't have a Coinbase account, you'll receive a message then telling you how to create one to receive the money. And I can just send it to email or phone number. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Stable coins across the board for everything, instant fiat to USDC swaps. And then one of the bigger things is back to the banking side of stuff. You can direct deposit to Coinbase and auto allocate. So I could theoretically get paid every other week and just swap 100% of it to Bitcoin, making it so I'm basically getting paid in Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I'm like, there's some really interesting stuff where they're just trying to be the everything finance app similar to Robinhood. But obviously, I'm still just more of a Robinhood bull just because it has the TradFi and retail audience that knows what it is. Coinbase still has this push for like crypto, you know? So I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. I basically covered the entire event while I was live streaming, posting the announcements because I was like, this is a really good presentation. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised. Stock trading, individual accounts, business accounts, all this stuff. And I was like, this is really, really good to see. And like I was texting Nick and Pio and I'm like, this is good. Like, this is really good from like a full business suite standpoint. I'm very interested in what they're doing here.
All right, so let's move over towards the stock price. Up in pre-market, are you potentially interested in Coinbase? I know you're saying we're backing the fastest horse in Robinhood. Are you interested after this presentation to consider adding Coinbase?
Yes. Yeah. I think buying Coinbase here makes sense. I think buying Robinhood makes sense. Back-to-back announcements from each of them to end the year, going into Q1, and both seem to be pushing for the same end goal, which is just continue to crush it. They're going to lock your account easy. They've already done it once, and I've somehow gotten it unlocked. So, listen, I hope not. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of this. I was very surprised with everything that they had going on. Enough for me to be like, this is a win. Like, inherently, this is a win for a lot of this push. I like the shift that they're taking. A lot of people are like, wow, Coinbase is going away from crypto. I don't think that's the case at all. I think if anything, they're just trying to cover more of the finance side of it. And then on top of it, the biggest hurdle's almost always been like if you own Bitcoin or crypto, you can't put it on like your net worth or your balance sheet to then go and buy a house, right? What you can now do though is borrow up against your Bitcoin up to $5 million right in the app. And now you have 5 million cash as a loan, which you don't have to pay taxes on because it's not a sellable event. And now you can show that as proof of capital if you want to go buy something. So I'm like, yeah, that's really interesting. And up to $1 million on ETH, and then they're going to be doing more of that too. They also kind of rolled out some stuff for like lending and borrowing against your USDC, which has, I think, anywhere from an 8 to 12% APY. You determine when and where, and then unlocks staking at any point. So you can unlock Ethereum staking immediately without the 7-day cooldown. You can unlock Solana without the 3-day cooldown, which I was like, yeah. So they're just leaning into a lot of ways for like making money, you know, and like true banking stuff that they're opening up. And I'm like, this is good. Like everything that they're saying is stuff that I think will make finance easier. But the big hurdle they're going to have is how do they come over the top of like, we're just a crypto app, which I think is going to be their biggest hurdle.
Yeah, that's what gives me like slight pause in looking at Coinbase versus Robinhood is like Coinbase being correlated more so to crypto markets than Robinhood. If Robinhood's financializing everything and they're coming from an equities first like floor, like ground level where they built themselves out as an equities company, they feel like more future proof and less correlated to crypto. Whereas Coinbase, even though they're adding equities and they're adding perps and they're doing all this other interesting stuff, they're still very crypto focused. And if you're in crypto and you're also in Coinbase, you're not really diversified. You're basically depending on the same like major price action to determine stock price. Because if you look at the Coinbase chart here, this looks very similar to what Bitcoin looks like over the same time frame.
Yeah. And I think it'll always have some level of tie to the overall crypto market cap. Like if you go to the total 3 or whatever it is, I think that's your best indicator for where Coinbase will trade because it's always going to be denominated in the crypto side of it, which is almost an impossible feat unless they change their name, you know, because it's just based on crypto, which is why I still lean way more on the Robinhood side, purely because Robinhood's a do everything finance app.
Yeah, I've got the Coinbase stock versus Bitcoin price chart here. If you're watching over on YouTube, and like this is pretty correlated and range bound with like, you know, some volatility, but for the most part, you can draw a line through this, and you've been in this like this same range since 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So you are more correlated. And if we look at like let's look at Robinhood versus Bitcoin. I'd be curious to look at this one. See Robinhood versus Bitcoin. You have this chart here where it doesn't care.
It looks great.
Yeah, it actually looks awesome. This even looks better than the Robinhood chart, I think. So, I mean, this kind of just shows equities versus Bitcoin has been like kind of the narrative for this year, and just equities outperforming, and kind of like a lot of frustration has been coming from crypto and that from that standpoint. And I think this chart tells a pretty big story regarding that when you're just looking at Robinhood versus the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, looking at just price action on Bitcoin, we are seeing a bit of a bump today in this same range. It seems like we're pretty range bound still. You know, we're having bad days, good days. We saw a huge amount of inflows come in from Fidelity and their ETF yesterday. That was, I think, the most inflows we saw from Fidelity since January of this year. So institutions continue to buy, but price continues to hover. Some interesting stats regarding the macro on Bitcoin. Bitcoin whales over the last 30 days have been accumulating at record paces. Essentially, buying more over the last 30 days than they have in any month over the last 13 years. So we've seen a large accumulation on Bitcoin here from accounts with big wallets. But I mean, this also comes as a number of like larger old whales have sold throughout this year. I think there's $300 billion worth of Bitcoin that's in circulation this year that hasn't been in circulation previously. So there's a lot of sell pressure, but there's also a lot of buy pressure coming from larger wallets. It'll be interesting to see like which one gives first, like a movable wall versus unstoppable object. But until we get any kind of resolution, I think we're going to continue to be range bound. We've talked about this a bunch, but like easy, like what are you looking for on the cycle? Like, do you really feel like give me percent chance that like we've already topped versus we're going higher? I would love to hear like your confidence interval.
Man, percent chance we already topped is probably like 40 to 45, almost a coin flip. I still lean we go higher, but I think it's like pretty much a coin flip of like if we give up the lows here and Bitcoin dips under 80, even like 86, I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to dip down into the 70s and range there for an extended period of time, making people uncomfortable. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say. Like that's why I'm comfortable kind of like looking at new stuff, checking out new ecosystems, trying to figure out what the upside is going to be elsewhere, you know, versus buy into old bags, try to catch a falling knife. I've been saying it too. Like I would rather buy once we see more strength for that upside potential versus buy in too early and continue to have the downside push.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, I've been basically beating this drum and I really haven't bought into too much. I haven't clicked too many buttons and I've been saying like, hey, new opportunities are going to be the best risk adjusted return right now, as opposed to trying to figure out what the market is going to be doing. Because I mean, you're just looking at this. We've been, I mean, down since 1010 with that really bad crash, and then ranging in this kind of like floor area since November 21st, almost a month of just this range bound price action. Like I think we're I think I agree with you on like that we're a coin flip. I'd even push us maybe towards the other side of the coin flip. 55% chance we've topped, 45% chance.
I lean we haven't just because so many people are saying we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we are seeing like fatigue and FUD on the timeline.
Yep.
But I don't know if like we've really hit that level of pain yet. We're not seeing like major players crash out, leave the space. Like, I think once you start seeing that, you start thinking, okay, maybe we're going a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Geo Hendricks says Bitcoin Cash looks good.
Yeah, you're smoking crack.
A number of different tokens. I was looking this morning to see like what's been outperforming during this kind of pullback. We saw the Pippin FUD. I saw that they might have gotten listed on Robinhood. That would be absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at like Monero. Monero is one token that has been cooking.
I've been saying XMR, dude.
Look at this chart on the daily. XMR is approaching.
Who's been saying XMR?
I guess you have. I haven't bought any XMR. This is approaching all-time highs. I think all-time high for Monero is around $450. So this is absolutely cooking while the market has been falling. Winning the privacy battle versus Zcash right now. Zcash, it looks like it's setting up lower lows again. What do you think about this chart? This one looks pretty good here.
I mean, Zcash does look good.
Looks like we could be setting up a third lower low here. Do we break out above? This level at 453? That'd be over a 10% run if we could do that. Maybe 423 first and hold. But
what was the price of Monero on October 3rd?
Is that when you tweeted about it?
Can you just check for me? XMR.
Yeah, typo. October 3rd, price of Monero. We closed October 3rd at $322.
Okay. Just saying.
Easy, October 3rd. Watching Zcash run so hard, Monero is undervalued in my opinion. Not easy to buy. Tons of friction. Yeah, higher. And then the merchant narratives. Isn't Monero under a constant reorg attack though?
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah, so you're up on that call, up $130. You're up 33%.
Yeah, it seemed pretty good.
In a scenario where everything else has been underperforming. Looking at the XMR over Bitcoin chart, if you converted Bitcoin into XMR on October 3rd, you are looking very nice. Look at this. I don't even have, there's not even axes where we're trying to go here. But this thing is up and to the right as well. Monero outperforming all crypto majors. Normally not a good sign from what I hear. This is maybe one of the last things to run during a bull market. But I would hate to see this market top. It'd be the saddest market top we've had, I think, since crypto started. So fingers crossed that we haven't hit the top yet. Let's look over at some other stories for today. Bank of Japan, huge rate hike coming out of them. Highest levels. We're going to see the highest levels in 30 years coming today. This could be a reason for a little bit of the stock unwind. Risk on assets could suffer. A lot of people have been talking about the yen carry trade, where like large funds and companies borrow against yen because it has such a low interest rate, and then they deploy into risk on assets. As rates rise, though, that trade kind of falls apart, and people have to unwind their positions to pay it back to avoid the interest. Are you concerned about the yen carry trade specifically, Easy? Do you think this has basically all been priced in at this point?
I'm more concerned that Warren Buffett is buying a lot of it.
Buying a lot of
Japanese yen.
So Buffett is buying yen.
Buying a lot of Japanese yen-denominated bonds and stakes in major trading houses, reflecting his confidence in the Japanese market. Yeah, so he's been taking some swings there.
Buffett's moving $348 in the $348 billion in the yen. Key takeaway is U.S. policy scaring him. DXY could be facing a collapse.
Yeah, so he's basically betting that the yen holds up better than the dollar, which I don't hate that trade, but it'll be interesting.
All right, so let's look at the DXY. You generally look at this chart, and you're pretty familiar. We've been ranging here. What are your thoughts on DXY in this chart here?
As long as it doesn't break 100, I feel great. That's always been like my line in the sand. It rejected pretty hard off of 100, right? Like we got the 100 retest on November 24th, my birthday, which lines up pretty hard with a major resistance line. Like, yeah, so I was like, yeah, this seems fascinating to see. So we got that rejection, which if you look at my screen, which is a little bit better because I'm the best, pretty aggressive rejection line. One, you had a breakout here that got pushed back down to make a new low. So that was a pretty hard rejection when you get that. Rejection here, another new low. We just got a rejection, our third rejection, which means we should realistically dip towards like 95, 93, right? And if that happens, then there's a good chance that we see risk on assets somewhat rally.
Okay, I see that. So we would need a third lower low and a breakdown, and then you're saying risk on assets can run.
Yes.
I want to move over to Polymarket, beginning to look at rate decision in January. Hassett came out this morning, or no, yeah, I think Hassett came out this morning and was basically saying, hey, there's still room to continue to cut. January rate cut sitting at 11. Sorry, I'm in the wrong market right now. Fed decision in January, no change at 71%, 25% cut at 29%. This is up a little bit on the day. You can see the graph here. We've moved up on the single rate cut for January. I kind of like this still at 29% on a cut coming January. Unemployment is continuing to go up, exceeding expectations for the month. That seems to be like the key metric. Trump is continuing to pressure for cuts. I could see potentially a cut in January. We had what do we have? 3 dissenters in December. 2 people saying we shouldn't cut. 1 person saying we should have cut
more
50 basis points. I could make a case for a January rate cut for sure in this scenario, and that would, in theory, help risk on assets. I know you've historically been no cut here. Still leaning that way.
I lean no cut. Yeah, I lean no cut. Just because you're getting into a situation like I look at FedWatch, which is pricing in 3 cuts for next year.
Mhm.
Right now, it's a 73% chance for no cut. March has 1 cut. Yeah, March. So basically, it's setting up for a coin flip between no cut and 1 cut for March. Actually 11. So it's actually a 57% chance that we have 1 to 2 cuts. 11% on 2, 46 on 1. For that, I look at April, which is pricing a little bit higher. They're saying basically by June or July, we'll have 2 cuts in place, which I don't hate. June or July.
Yeah, I have to imagine when the new chair takes over, there's going to be an immediate cut.
Yeah, which that'll be in March.
Right.
So April's pricing in the likelihood of a second cut at 24%, with at least 1 by then being 45. So if we don't cut the first 2, you're looking at like a 68, 70% chance of a cut. Which I don't hate. I don't hate it.
Yeah, we will see here. There's something else I wanted to show. Now it's not coming to my mind. Oh yeah, CPI data came out today. Came out soft.
Shocker.
So inflation slowing down. So we thought CPI was going to be rising, which is the consumer price index. Prices consumers pay. Estimation said 3.1% gain year over year. We saw a 2.7% gain. So this is a pretty big miss on the CPI. Core CPI also with a pretty big miss year over year. 3% estimated, 2.6% was what the data came in at. So inflation cooling. This could. I'm surprised this is showing like rate cuts have like jumped up in terms of odds based on this. Normally, if you're going to see inflation pulling back, you'll have less of a chance of a cut. But I guess they're just really focusing on the employment side. We're looking for the month-over-month CPI. Find these numbers. Yeah, I'm not seeing month-over-month. I guess because we didn't get October data. Could be part of it. Jobless claims basically at estimates. We have more continuing claims increasing, more jobless claims, they're increasing over 6 weeks. So we're seeing the employment continue to struggle, inflation trending down a little bit, and then this is causing some movement on the rate cut side, which is going to affect the assets. I feel like we have to go so many levels deep on the macro side to kind of make these guesses, and I know that's why kind of part of the reason we're like I just don't have faith in trading majors right now, because everything is kind of hinges on this data that continues to kind of flip-flop around. Let's look over at other stories. I'm going to go through a handful of quick hitters that happened over the last 24 hours. You can find all of these in our daily newsletter, dailybones.com. Trump announced a $1,776 warrior dividend for U.S. soldiers yesterday. The Marshall Islands deploy on-chain UBI, Universal Basic Income, coming to the blockchain. Dare Markets became the first Solana app to be approved for TikTok integration. That's pretty cool. JP Morgan moved its tokenized deposit token from their native chain to Base. The Bitcoin mining company Hut 8 partnered with Google on a data center deal. Former CFTC chair joined MoonPay as their chief legal officer. So MoonPay getting a nice little upgrade there. We saw the DTCC partnering with Canton blockchain to tokenize equities. X stocks launched worldwide on Telegram's Ton wallet. Kyle Samani said Ethereum has accomplished nothing in 8 years. taking shots at the other opposing blockchain. Alameda's Caroline Ellison was moved from prison to a community confinement center. Hype fell below $25 for the first time since May. We talked about that. The Core Jito Foundation operations moved back to the USA after moving overseas. And Bhutan, our favorite crypto country, they committed 10,000 Bitcoin to build a new city. So maybe some sell pressure coming from Bhutan as they convert their Bitcoin into an actual city. That's a fun one. That wraps it up for all of our quick hitters. You can catch all these at dailybones.com. Sign up for our daily newsletter. Get it in your inbox Monday through Friday, and a weekly update every weekend. Any story there that jumped out at you? Anything else that is interesting to you going forward? Any prediction markets you're in today? Anything you're trading?
Nothing major. Yeah, I'm not really making too many moves. Holidays are tough.
Yeah. Mention markets today. We have some earnings markets. FedEx, Nike, Tucker Carlson at an America First Fest. We have a Trump rally tomorrow.
I don't know what the America First Fest is.
Yeah, I have no idea. Not much volume on here. Less than $1,000 worth of volumes. Might be a fairly new market.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue my bond journey. I didn't play anything yesterday. I'm looking to play more of the like noon time frame price action on some of these. We're seeing a lot of volatility right now. Like, it's too early to get in any of these markets. Like 92K Bitcoin, like, while you may think we're not going to get to 92K, trading at 98%, like, anything can happen. We saw a huge price spike yesterday that could have ruined a lot of these markets right before noon, right around like 10:30 a.m. But that ended up pulling back. But I have been like familiarizing myself with this Bet More site, with their polymarket lines, and kind of looking what's expiring soon on the bond, quote unquote, bond side, and trying to figure out like, hey, what are some of these expiring contracts that I can get in and just take a couple pennies on the dollar. For things that have like basically already been decided at high percentages. So continuing to look at this on the prediction market side, always looking to find an edge and looking to get more familiar with prediction markets as a whole. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap?
I think that's everything.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. It's been a wonderful Thursday here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, you name it. You can also watch back on YouTube, Zora, where we're streaming each and every day. See what we're talking about in real